I've been replaying a lot of Stardew Valley lately. I'm not replaying it for the new content patched in long after I beat the game on release. I'm finding a little bit of solace inside of it at a time where I'm lost on where my life is going to go next. But I'm not talking about 10 or 20 hours across a month of existential turmoil. I'm talking multiple playthroughs reaching 30 or 40 hours in 2 weeks. You see, I'm not playing a normal version of Stardew Valley. I'm playing with mods, a metric boatload of mods, more mods than you'd expect. I have this uncanny habit of coming back to certain games just before they enter their next big surge of popularity or get a major facelift. So of course, I started modding up Stardew Valley for the upteenth time. Then shortly thereafter, it was announced to be getting a 64-bit version, which would basically allow Stardew to allocate more RAM for itself. It was also getting a new framework. Ideally, these make it possible to load more mods at once and for mod authors to more easily create them. It got me thinking about modding in general, why people do it, why games with mods seem to stand the test of time. Video game modding is more than what the majority of video game mods would make you think it is. For most video games, a mod is changing the color of a character's clothes or swapping out one model for another. You might have seen a goofy video where a character's face animations are exaggerated, or maybe that kind of offensive video of what's dubbed the Mexican DMC mod. This is only the surface of what video game mods can do when they're able to properly manipulate or add to existing game files. In Stardew Valley, you can add a mod which will automatically water your tilled soil tiles when you make them. Another can auto-water your crops every day so you don't have to do it. Okay, this is sort of cheating, right? Well, how about a mod automatically depositing and withdrawing items from a chest and into a machine as long as the two are next to each other? How about a mod making your character move faster on floor tiles you've added to your farm? These change Stardew Valley to cater to a specific person, this person being me, or you, or someone else. Games can't be made to satisfy everyone's specific tastes or preferences, but video game mods crack the possibilities wide open in terms of accessibility and personal tweaking. Mods allow games to be updated, in a sense, to provide accessibility in ways which weren't anticipated at the time of their release. They can be altered for more inclusivity, have their dialogue edited to account for better pronoun usage. All of these changes are on the user end. They allow the community around these games to modify it themselves for peace of mind or out of curiosity, to see if the experience turns out better. As preservation of old entertainment grows, video games are in a convenient space where, in some cases, not all, being able to modernize those games can also grow the community around them. It's for this reason many popularly modded games don't tend to see remakes or remasters, except for Knights of the Old Republic, I guess. But even Knights of the Old Republic 2, when it received its Steam Workshop page, was advertised with its signature restoration and quality of life mod intact. It's why we don't see Skyrim being remade save for its special edition and now its anniversary edition, which admittedly is setting mod authors back an undetermined amount of time, but not forever. It's why the original Deus Ex is still playable to this day on modern hardware. It's how Doom, besides being one of gaming's touchstones, maintains circulation and discussion through the use of Doom WADs. The modding communities around these titles keep them functional despite their age and push out mods reflecting modern design principles in order to improve the overall experience with them. Skyrim gets entire DLC-sized creations made by passionate authors, a new map with new locations to explore, or something more modular like a restructuring of the perk system. Stardew Valley has the quintessential Stardew Valley expanded mod. It adds new NPCs, new quests to complete outside of the first year of gameplay, and a modified map with new sections of town to visit. Even the Yakuza games on PC have mods which add movesets from previous games into the others and have new custom heat moves or leveling paths. Mods like these are incredibly important because they take something you already own and change the way it's played. Mods like Wildcat and the Ultimate Dodge mod change Skyrim combat into a heavier, hardcore engagement. Other mods change combat animations, give you a target lock-on, and turn Skyrim into a Souls-like. Speaking of, there's more than a couple of Dark Souls overhaul mods which create brand new routes, enemy placements, and in at least one case, a sequel to the end of the base game. Each time you play through a heavily modded game can result in a vastly different experience than the first time you played it without any mods installed. Almost like playing an entirely different game. For me, it sometimes feels like a remaster or remake in and of itself. If every few months you mod Skyrim and play it for a few hours, you're doing so because a new mod stood out to you or because you were in the mood for something similar but different. You were looking for your Skyrim 2 or your Stardew Valley 2. Mod authors create longevity with free content you can enjoy for years to come. They give you more mileage out of what you already own. If you haven't before, you ought to toss a few bucks to your favorites. With enough support, they can end up creating original works. The Forgotten City was a standalone overhaul mod for Skyrim, so successful and popular as a mod that it was remade into a standalone game on Unreal Engine. It's an example of how having a supported modding space can breed innovation and, down the line, brand new games for people to play. They create careers, they inspire others. Mods are creations born from a passion within an already existing community made by those communities. It's this community-driven content which I think will become the central force behind video game development in the years to come, if it hasn't already. Game studios have wisened up to the pull video game mods have on audiences. After all, what is a Halo custom game on a Halo custom map if not a Halo custom mod? What is a custom track in Hot Wheels Unleashed? What is the backbone of games like Roblox or Gary's Mod if it isn't user-generated content? What do you think user-generated content is? All user-generated content, with few exceptions, are essentially mods. As we barrel forward into the next generation of gaming trends, being able to make user-generated content will continue to grow in demand. The further the average consumer's understanding of and access to game development tools grows, the more likely it is that players are going to want to create within their realm of abilities. I think live service games are a direct response to the growing popularity of modding scenes. They're an attempt to cash in on the modding craze. We've seen this before. Steam Workshop gave Bethesda the short-sighted idea of letting mods go up with price tags. Bethesda then went and began the Creation Club, a mod marketplace with curation and more price tags. What else is a live service game if not essentially new content from a single mod author? If the only difference is the number of authors and the officiality of the content, then the method, the intent, and the effect stays mostly the same. Except a live service game makes it near impossible for a mod community to grow around it. They tend to be perpetually online, and so the companies behind them gain all the benefits of a constantly changing game without ever giving players or mod authors the keys to drive their experiences themselves. This is most obvious in the case of Fallout 76, a game which for all intents and purposes is simply another Fallout game with multiplayer, except it's always online and has no private play feature to speak of. As such, anti-cheat hooks understandably prevent players from modding it, and they're left with purchasing new items and skins from an in-game store for real-world currency. The only thing preventing mods for Fallout 76 from exploding in number and subsequently increasing the number of users playing it are these restrictions. It's the reason most Fallout fans haven't moved on to 76 from 4. If they can't curate their own experience, they're not as interested in moving away from the game which lets them, even if the game isn't great to begin with. This in-game store selling them what otherwise would have been a free mod in Fallout 4 is yet another attempt to monopolize mods. Another way of taking power away from users and mod authors who want to share their ideas or improvements to the game. And I think this is what companies want. Total control over an individual product long after it falls into the consumer's hands. Live service games monetize the ideas behind modded content without respecting the pioneers of those ideas. As this monetization grows, modding communities shrink. As mods become new avenues of charging consumers instead of ways to inspire new creators, the communities revolving around those games suffer for it. It does the opposite of what mods can do. It dramatically shortens the lifespan of a game when it can't be modded, or worse, when a company makes an active effort to shut the growing mod community around it down. Final Fantasy XV was a game plagued by production issues and serves as a warning against the live service model and staggered release of content. Final Fantasy XV was the perfect candidate for mod authors to swoop in and refurbish inside and out, and the PC announcement was eagerly anticipated for this reason. Square Enix rode the wave. It proclaimed mods would come to Final Fantasy XV with a proper level editor for excited would-be developers to make their own. After a rudimentary toolset came out to swap textures and models, Square Enix didn't just kill the rest of the expected Season Pass content for 15, it discontinued all plans for this promised creation suite. With that, the community around Final Fantasy XV died. Mod authors migrated to other games. The mod catalog never progressed beyond relatively inconsequential model swaps. The workshop page on Steam might as well be a ghost town. XCOM 2 represents the power of a truly supported modding scene and speaks volumes of how to turn any game into a classic. With XCOM 2, Firaxis hired the creators of the Long War mod for XCOM 1 to do the same for XCOM 2. It served as a perfect companion piece to a sought-after sequel and convinced many pro mod players to purchase XCOM 2 at launch instead of waiting for the mod community to catch up with a new release. To this day, modded content for XCOM 2 continues to show up on Steam Workshop. Mod launchers have been made to better organize and enable or disable mods players want for specific playthroughs. And these mods aren't super huge overhauls like the Forgotten City was. They're not massive changes like Stardew Valley Expanded. Despite its age and even still the limited range of capability mods in XCOM 2 even have, the mod scene is thriving, largely because they've received even a decent amount of official support. Sanctioned mod creation and incentives to continue creating have kept XCOM 2 a permanent mainstay of many libraries. Concerned Ape works closely with mod authors, and he continues to update mod authors about the state of Stardew Valley. This keeps the mod community from stagnating or dwindling. Bethesda's official support of mods through their creation suite, despite them hamstringing the space in other areas, makes creating mods accessible and simple enough for anyone to learn how to make them. What all of these approaches share is a transparent invitation to create off the foundation the original creators have established. It's about as close to the public domain as we can probably get in this day and age. An open agreement. Independent creators can build off what's already there to add on to, improve, or change existing content for others to try out. It's a real creative space for ideas to mingle and develop, and these ideas can one day become original productions completely all their own. In the meantime, they perpetuate the relevance, success, and love for the original works they're based on. Naturally, not every developer out there can make their games mod accessible or necessarily know how to. Mods are often a result of an exploit users can take advantage of to inject content into the game. Modding a game can render it unplayable if the method of doing so is roundabout or if the game isn't built with this function in mind. Some wouldn't really benefit from having mods at all. So no, it's not reasonable to shout at every developer Twitter and ask, "Will you be allowing users to mod your video game?" But in the long term, it may benefit smaller-sized studios and independent members of the industry to consider modability for their games. Larger studios should keep in mind the origin of mods and the reasons consumers gravitate to them, instead of trying to monetize and eventually collapse their potential completely. In the long term, this access can grant smaller titles a little more staying power or inspire a cult following. They can justify releasing the same game on 20 different platforms 30 different times for hungry fans who want to use mods on newer hardware. In the long term, mods make video games evergreen. Let's ensure mods themselves stay evergreen as well.